to some extent, episode 10.
Is it 10?
Big, yeah, I think so. That's a big milestone, I feel like. 10 episodes?
It's exciting.
I feel like a lot of podcasts seem to, I don't know, they probably die out pretty quickly. And I feel like 10 episodes is pretty good. You're starting to get a feel for it, getting a hang of it.
It's been 10 weeks of this.
Yeah, that's crazy too. That's almost 3 full months. It's getting close. Yeah, that's crazy. So how was your week?
It was good. I was so sore. We did a solid core class. If you guys have ever done a solid core class, they're insane. They're so hard.
Mm-hmm.
And I've done one in the past, but I haven't done one for like a while.
Yeah.
And we did it for the first time in like months, and I've never been that sore in such a long time. So I was insanely sore all week, which is definitely like my thorn, I guess you could say, which isn't that bad of a thorn, but it was a
thorn of the week, yeah.
It
could be a rose, honestly, too.
I couldn't work out the rest of the week.
Oh yeah, fair.
I was like in so much pain.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess my roses, we started going back to solid core class, which is really fun. And something new.
No, it definitely keeps it interesting.
Yeah.
I'm usually, if you don't know what solid core is, it's kind of like a class. It's kind of like going to a gym in a nightclub almost.
But it's Pilates.
But yeah. And they have the lights really low and really loud music, and but it's a cool way to work out, get some exercise in. Definitely gets like the muscles working that you don't often work out, I feel like.
Mostly my abs. Like my abs were sore in places I didn't even know could be sore.
And the time goes really quick, I'd say.
Yeah, it does.
Like it's like an hour class, and I feel like it goes probably pretty quick because you're moving constantly. Like there's no stopping. And then like, also I would say I feel like for most of the classes I've been the only guy there, which is I don't know, it's interesting. I feel like more guys could start doing it.
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, my uncle does it every single day.
I guess I don't know why it is mostly girls, but yeah, I feel like guys could definitely benefit from it too.
People that do it every day are definitely like shredded. Like all the teachers that do it.
Super good shit. Yeah.
It's crazy.
So I guess that's a good topic to get into today, but we'll segue back. I'll give you my rose and thorn of the week. I'd say rose was my family just got a new puppy. So went back home to see my new puppy. And having a puppy's awesome. It's a lot of fun. Super exciting.
What kind of puppy?
So I think it's technically called the Shar-Pei, but it's like one of those wrinkle dogs, like the brown wrinkle dogs. He's like probably like 25, 30 pounds.
And what's his name?
And his name's Indiana. So that would make a lot of sense, I'd say, because my family's got a lot of ties back to Indiana. And then they got him in Indiana too, so it kind of made a lot of sense.
Oh, he's so cute.
Yeah. So he's super playful, super fun, and then having a new puppy kind of brings life into the house a little bit.
Something exciting and new.
Yeah, and I have an older dog as well. His name is Gizmo, and I feel like it's bringing some new life into him too.
Good.
He can be pretty annoyed by the dog sometimes, but he's much bigger than the puppy too. It's probably like 4 or 5 times the size of, maybe 3 times. No, probably like 4 times the size of the puppy. But yeah, he's pretty old, so he can't move around too well. But yeah, the puppy likes to jump on him, and it's kind of a fair matchup, I would say, because Gizmo doesn't love to get up and move around that much anymore, and the puppy likes to jump on his face, and Gizmo can kind of just hit him over with his head if he needs to. So yeah, it was funny watching those interactions, but that was a good rose. And then I'd say my thorn. I guess my thorn is, some people might know this, but I'm a big Packers fan, Green Bay Packers, and they're having some quarterback controversy here with their new quarterback, or not their old quarterback, Aaron Rodgers, but I So yeah, it's been a tough situation, but I don't think he'll be playing for the Packers next year, so that's kind of sad.
And Alex just came over to film this, and my dramatic ass is like, "I'm so sorry for your loss," and you're like, "What?" I thought Aaron Rodgers already got traded, but apparently it's not.
Not yet, but by the time this comes out, it could be different. So I don't know. It's the news is honestly getting annoying to me, so I'm trying not to pay attention to it because he can't make up his mind. So yeah, but I don't know. You got anything else from this week?
No, I got to go to Boulder this past weekend and hang out with my brother, and he had a few friends in town, which is fun to be back and with a new crowd of people.
Yeah, Boulder's a really fun time.
Especially during like St. Patty's. But I did have so much FOMO for all the people that went back to Chicago. They went to the parade and saw the river be dark green.
St. Patty's pretty well done.
That was like all my social media feed this whole weekend was all St. Patty's stuff.
Well, I always wonder, like, I don't know, why did they do St. Patty's a week earlier than St. Patty's Day?
I feel like because they dye the river.
Yeah.
I could be so wrong. This is just what my thought process is. Mm-hmm. But I think they want to dye it before St. Patty's is actually there.
Yeah, well, I know they had the parade. But
yeah, because Denver also had.
It only lasts like 2 days, the dye.
No.
Yeah, I think so.
No, it lasts like all week.
Really?
Yeah, it doesn't go away for a while. I mean, it probably isn't as like bright and green.
Yeah, as it starts
but
off.
It stays.
Yeah. Okay. But next year, St. Patty's is gonna be on a Saturday. So maybe they'll do it on St. Patty's.
I need to fact check myself. I just always thought they wanted it green for St. Patty's Day.
No, that's what.
I'm honestly not sure.
No, that's definitely what it's for. But I was just wondering why they do it like a week before. Maybe because they don't want to do it after St. Patty's Day. Because I guess that makes sense.
And I know, like, at least when I was in Boulder, St. Patty's always got shut down so fast. So I know the college kids celebrate the weekend before.
Yeah. Okay.
Just because they know.
So were they celebrating when you were there?
Kind of.
I have heard that they do St. Patty's pretty well in Boulder too.
I feel like St. Patty's is like a hit or miss that people either go all out or you still just kind of go out and.
I think it's one of my favorite holidays though.
Honestly, me too. It's just like random and fun.
Yeah, it's not like there's no pressure of getting people gifts or anything.
No.
And then there's also like.
It's just an excuse to drink.
And wear green.
Hang out.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like people get excited for it, and it's also, I feel like, a little portal to the springtime.
I agree.
Like, once you hit St. Patty's Day,
it's like getting warm.
You're like, alright, it's starting to get warmer, I think.
Springtime-ish. I like that thought or idea.
Yes, I think that's partly why people are celebrating almost.
It has been really nice here the past few weekends, which is like giving me some confidence it's getting warmer and gonna stay warmer.
Yeah, let's hope.
But yeah, that's something exciting to look forward to, I guess, is St. Patty's this upcoming weekend.
This Friday, right? Yeah. Yeah, that will be fun. Plus, March Madness is about to start. And I could not be more excited for that. So it's got a good week, 2 weeks coming up, I feel like.
And it's your birthday.
Yeah, that too.
That part.
Yeah, my birthday's on a Monday this year, so it's like can't do too much, but I don't know. Birthdays are weird. We could probably do a whole show on birthdays, but I don't know if I necessarily like love my own birthday, but I love celebrating other people's birthdays.
I was about to say, are you a birthday lover or hater?
I don't hate my own birthday, but I don't know. Sometimes I'm like, because like people always reach out to you and say happy birthday, and you answer a bunch of texts, and it's cool getting like some attention for sure. But I don't know. It's it can be a lot sometimes. I feel like, and there's always this expectation like I need to have a good birthday. Like,
right.
It's kind of like New Year's.
I think that's the hardest part too. Is I used to love my birthday, and now I'm kind of like eh. Like I hit 21, and there's not really anything exciting going on anymore.
Coming up.
Like birthday-wise,
Yeah.
number-wise, and I agree. There always is an expectation to be.
Well,
what are you doing for your birthday?
I let's see, what are the next milestones? You can rent a car at 26 or 25, maybe. Officially.
Yeah, but then it's also, you get to rent a car, but then you get taken off of your parents' insurance.
Yeah, true. True. So you gotta start paying for your own insurance. Let's see, 63. Or what is it? Is it 63 or 62?
63, what?
You get to take your 401k out, or you get to retire.
Okay, that's like so long. I was thinking like,
I forget what
30.
the age is. Oh, maybe it's like 65.
Like I feel like decades are celebrated.
Yeah. Those should be bigger birthdays.
63.
I was just trying to think of like anything meaningful that could happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are big birthdays.
But yeah, we should get into our topic of the day.
Yeah. So this topic's going to be a little bit about, I would say, exercising in all different ways, but then also like going to places such as like a gym or a class where other people are also exercising. You're kind of like in public, I guess. And like
fully in public.
Yeah. And like try to knock, like you put headphones in and try to like zone all of it out. But yeah, I feel like working out in public isn't always
easy.
Yeah, or like
working out in general is a hard thing to do at times.
Definitely.
I think, at least for me, I've wanted to bring this topic up just because I know my workout experience and lifestyle hasn't always been consistent, and it definitely is for me a up and down experience. And
I feel like that's for a lot of people.
Something that is very important to me, but has not always been a priority, I'd say. And then, I don't know, I think we both have like completely different experiences with it and could have a good conversation around it, so.
Definitely. I think to start is like figuring out, like, because exercise is something that like should be done, like just to live a healthy lifestyle. Like it's just scientifically proven that exercise is healthy for you, and you should be doing it. But there's a million different ways that you can get that done.
Right.
So it's like the hard part, I feel like, is figuring out what works for you. Because going to the gym every day does not work for a lot of people.
Right.
And so like these new classes that keep popping up, like different types of classes, I feel like are really good. But I guess let's start from the beginning. Like where did you start, and like why did you start? Maybe what was like motivating you to like try to get into a workout routine?
Well, I guess growing up, I kind of hit on this in the hometown episode, but my parents were very, not strict, I think it's in a good way, like very hard on us, like you're always going to be in a sport, you always have to be active. If you're not doing a sport in high school, middle school, whatever, like you're going to the gym. It was like one or the other, so I was in a sport my entire life up till graduating high school, because I didn't go to college for any sports, but I was very active, always keeping involvement in something. So I really realized that since that's such a big part of my life, I wanted to take that to college and still be active, because that's one of the hardest transitions, is like you have stability in your sport growing up, and then if you weren't to play that sport in college, like you're kind of having to work out on your own. So freshman year and sophomore year, I did a pretty decent job of like going to the gym. CU's Rec Center, if you've seen it, I think you have, is one of the most beautiful gyms you'll ever see in your life.
It probably is the nicest gym I've ever seen.
I'm not even being biased, it's gorgeous. Like the backdrop is the mountains, it's awesome. So we were really lucky to have that at school, but as I got older, junior year and senior year did not work out ever. Unless I went home. I was good about it when I was home for like breaks, but obviously that was for a week or two.
That's the thing about working out, it's it only works if you keep doing it.
Right. So I definitely, again, it was a very up and down situation for me throughout my life, and mostly throughout college. And I think it was just hard to do something consistently in college, at least for me. And after college, or almost around graduation, I was like, I need to start working out. I need to get healthier. Like, that's a priority of mine going into real life. So I was finding, when I was like looking for apartments for my roommate and I really wanted to either be by a gym, because I don't have a car, or have a gym in my apartment complex, which I do now. So this year, it's been one of my like top priorities is like getting my health life back together.
Yeah.
Because it is something I really do believe is important, and I know that when I'm consistently working out, I'm 10 times happier.
Yeah.
And I felt like I could see that junior year and senior year. Like, obviously I was happy, but I wasn't like healthy.
Yeah.
Physically at all.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like I was fat or anything either. I just was not in shape. You know what I mean? That's also the difference. It's like people work out to lose weight. People work out to get healthy. It's like, it's all these different little, I don't know, working out is such a hard concept, honestly. Or complicated.
Mm-hmm. There's there's a lot to unpack there, I'd say. It's like, so maybe let me ask you this. Why do you think it was hard for you to find that workout routine in college versus like now?
I think it was honestly because I was lazy. I'll be straight up. Like, I didn't do it because...
Even though CU has... Like, they have a rec center that makes you want to be there.
Right, and I think it was easy for me to do it in freshman year because I lived right next to it, or like on campus. So it was right there all the time. And then COVID hit and it closed down junior year. So it wasn't even open junior year, so I'd have to get like a class pass or like a gym membership.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Which I couldn't afford.
Yeah.
Because they're expensive too.
Yeah, definitely.
And it was just COVID in general, so it's like a lot of things were shut down.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's one of my biggest reasons it kind of, I guess I stopped, which is definitely not a good excuse, but I'm just being real, like that's what it was.
But I don't know, there's a lot of things like life gets in the way of like daily exercise sometimes. Like some people just too busy, or they have too much going on. Like,
yeah, and I was going to say senior year, I was basically working full time. And then also a student, so I just did not even try to find the time.
Yeah.
And it was also senior year, so it's like that just wasn't a priority for me, which it should have been, but it just wasn't. And I knew in the back of my head, like both those years, how much better I feel when I do go work out. Especially going home and going to the gym and doing things like that.
Yeah.
I don't know, I think it was college in general. My lifestyle wasn't the healthiest, but that's why I wanted to make changes this year, and I made that a very serious priority of mine.
So you think that is what motivated you to, after you graduated, you were like, okay. Like, I guess I want to, what flipped in your mind that was like, all right, I need, like, working out is something I want to start doing, even though I haven't been doing it for a really long time?
I think, well, obviously, like, losing weight and, like, looking good, like, looking your best is...
But I feel like looking good can be a tough motivator, I feel like.
Because you're never actually satisfied with that.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, you know, you kind of, you imagine yourself, or you look at yourself differently than everybody else does, I feel like. And so sometimes, like, looking good is not always the best motivator. But if it works for you, it works.
I think, like, that was definitely one of them. And then my biggest one was mental health. Because, again, I really wanted to focus on health in general this year. Gotcha. Mental health and physical health. And I know the number one thing is going to work out, moving your body helps all of that. So that, I guess, would be my number one motivator. And also, like, you being around people, because you're really good at being disciplined and going to the gym all the time, or working out, or at least moving your body. And I think seeing that was like you were a good role model for me.
Okay.
Because I don't think I would have.
So maybe like surrounding people that are kind of already doing it?
Yeah.
Gotcha. That helps with a lot of things, I think. Like if you're trying to get into anything, surrounding people who are already doing it is probably a really good way to get started.
So enough about me. How was your experience with working out?
Well, I guess I just wanted to dive into like your mindset and like what changed in your mind versus like why.
It definitely wasn't a linear, inconsistent thing. Like it was very inconsistent throughout my life, and I guess now in my adult years I want to make it consistent and carry that into my adult life.
Yeah. And I think another thing is like what you I guess emphasize or like what you just said was like you want to do it. And one thing I feel like was like hard for me at the beginning at least was I felt like I had to do it, but it wasn't something I wanted to do, which I feel like can lead to like if you're there because you feel like you have to be there. I feel like maybe you won't be working out like I don't know. Maybe you'll leave some in the tank or like you're.
Because it feels more like a chore.
Yeah, almost. Or like it's harder for you to get there because you're like, this is something I have to do. It's like your homework at school or something.
Yeah, it's not something yeah, exactly. Like you want it for yourself. I think you're right. That's a very important thing to have when you're working on your fitness or health journey is like you want it for yourself.
Yeah, so you think maybe after graduating school and kind of getting out of that environment, you felt like your mind kind of switched and you're like, all right, now I want to switch up my routines and switch up what I've been doing.
So I knew for a fact, like I was living a very unhealthy lifestyle, but it's also college. So I was like, you know what? Right now I'm going to prioritize school. I'm going to prioritize graduating, spending time with my friends because I won't be with them.
Yeah.
Which is, I'm not saying like this is okay. I'm just saying what my mindset was.
Yeah.
And obviously now priorities shift.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
But let's hear about your experience.
Yeah, so I guess mine, I get it's different, but in a lot of the ways it's the same too. I got most of my exercise from playing sports when I was younger. When you're younger, I mean, you have energy for 24 hours of the day, so it's like you're outside running around or like you're going to play sports, and then after I'd play sports, I'd go hang out with my friends and play the same sport that I just played. Like it was like, that was how I got my exercise.
You're just always running around.
Yeah, but I never, like it took me a really long time to kind of like grow into my body. Maybe up until I was in high school, I felt like, so I was always kind of like a chunky kid, which I think I've mentioned before. I was kind of like a chunkier, I wouldn't say I was like fat, but I wouldn't say I was like overweight, I guess, but I would say I was like a little bit just, I guess I had a little bit more meat on my bones, I would say.
You did in high school?
No, I'd say up until high school.
I was about to say, I don't think in high school you did, but.
Well, because it took me a while to, I feel like, grow into myself. Like, I think I was just shorter, so like all the mass was like in my stomach, maybe. I don't know. I don't know if that's how it works, but then you start to stretch out and your stomach comes in.
Yeah.
So I struggled with that for a little bit, and I struggled with just having, I guess, looking at myself in the mirror. Like even when you're in middle school, you're I guess it's like elementary school, you don't really maybe think about it that much.
Right.
But in middle school, you start to realize a little bit, and that's kind of when it started happening on social media and stuff. And
you're self-conscious, like kicks in.
You start to mature a little bit more past elementary school, and I started to realize like, oh, I think I am a little chunky, and I would get made fun of for it a little bit.
Stop.
Yeah, I would for sure. And so that was, would get like people would think, I don't know, call me names or something, and sometimes like my friends would just be joshing around, and it would hurt a little bit, I'd say. It was,
I'm sure.
Yeah, it's like not an easy thing to deal with, but, and I'm sure tons and tons of people deal with it all the time too. But I think as I got older, I did start to just naturally kind of grow a little bit, I guess, taller and skinnier. And I started to grow into myself a little bit, and still never really worked out.
Okay.
Just like I played basketball. I didn't even know really how to weightlift at all, or like.
Right.
I started to realize that in order to be good at sports in high school, like, because people were kind of growing up and you're kind of growing into men, honestly.
Yeah.
And like at 14, 15 years old, there was people who were 6'3", 6'4", and I really wanted to play basketball. And people I heard were working out, but I didn't work out the entire time. Freshman year, I did not work out once. I just went to practice. Didn't like lift any weights or anything. But I was realizing that there was people that were a lot stronger than I was. And then sophomore year was coming, and I was like, I heard that a lot of people who were playing on the basketball team were going to workouts before school. I remember this so vividly the first time so one of my buddies on the team convinced me to go. And that was the first time I ever walked into a gym, like a weightlifting gym. And it was our high school gym, and so it's like 5 in the morning because it's right before school, and there's these huge, like absolute mountains of men in there on the football team, and I am like a freshman, scrawny freshman who kind of like went from being chubby to skinny in like a year, and I was so confused, and my buddy kind of pulled me over to the bench press, and he was like, we're gonna do this first, and I was like, okay, and I like watched him do it, and I was like, alright, and then I wanted to do the same amount of weight as him, and he had been working out a little bit already, so I go there, I'm like, alright, like I'm about as strong as him, I can definitely do this. I get up there, I literally get pinned, and I think there was 20s on each side or something. I literally get pinned immediately. And he was like, have you ever done this before? I was like, no. And he was like, okay, I could tell. And then, so he like kind of ran me through how to use a bench press, and I was just doing the bar the first time ever. In this gym where people are literally like huge guys just squatting, like throwing up plates like it's their job. I'm like, it was one of the most intimidating things I've ever done, probably. I've never felt so small in a gym like that for the first time. And so I didn't go back for a really long time.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't think I'm going to do that. I think I'm just going to try to get better at basketball and see if that will work. And that's when I tried out for basketball, and there was people who were a lot stronger than me, and I didn't make the basketball team. So then I kind of started to realize that like maybe I should start working out, but I was never really motivated to do it, so I quit sports after sophomore year of high school. Didn't do anything all the way up till senior year of high school, and then I realized how lazy I was getting in high school, and just like I would just go home and sit on the couch kind of and do nothing, and I felt like a lot of my friends would go right immediately after school to the gym, even the ones that weren't playing sports. They would just go and just try to work out, and then I would go and play basketball at the gym, and then eventually I was just like, alright, I'm going to try this working out thing. Like, all my friends are doing it, like I'm going to just try it. And I started it for a while, and it caught on for me. The gym and the weightlifting caught on like pretty quickly after that. I'm not really sure what switched in my brain like the first time when it didn't catch, but the second time it caught for me, and I was like hooked. And so senior year I started to consistently work out, and I wouldn't really go with anybody, like I wouldn't really go with friends or anything. I would kind of just go by myself. And I would always like play, there was always courts, like basketball courts there, and I would always just go to play basketball with my friends and then just work out a little bit. And as a senior, you know, you are like trying to prepare for college and stuff, and that was something I kind of wanted to, like as an ego thing, I was like, I want to get like a little bit bigger for college and like show people that I'm like, you know, grown up, and like it was a big deal for me at least. And so yeah, I was working out consistently, and I honestly since like senior year when I started, I haven't really stopped.
Right.
And I worked out like pretty consistently all throughout college, and but yeah, I didn't even think about the fact that the gyms closed in COVID, and it meant a lot to me just to kind of get a gym membership. So I spent the money and did it, but I can totally understand why spending money on a gym membership is not always your first priority if money is tight. It's like,
I think it's just crazy too that like working out is something, I mean, everyone needs in life to be healthy and fit and whatever else, but it's just crazy how expensive classes are and how gym memberships are. It's like, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like it should be, in my mind, it's like it should be cheaper.
Yeah. No,
so
I
like
get what you're saying.
Do it.
I get what you're saying.
People can't afford $100 a month to go to the gym. You know what I mean? It's just it's a lot.
And that's exactly why I use the apartment gym here, because it comes with the money I pay for rent.
Right. Because
I can't and didn't want to pay
a gym
extra money for a gym membership. So we can get into this, like the barriers, I guess, for working out. Like why there's so many things of like why you wouldn't start it. So like I got lucky because I started it and there was a gym at my high school that I could go to, and then I joined our like local YMCA, which the YMCA's aren't too bad.
$14 a month.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad compared to like the really nice gyms that you can find. And so that's where I started working out. I worked out there for all throughout, like whenever I'd go home, and then I would always do that. And they have like a nice enough gym to where you can get a good workout in for sure. And then at school I used my school gym that I was getting with tuition, which obviously you're paying a ton of money for that, but I guess it was. And now that I would probably have to pay for my own membership, which I did actually pay senior year of college. But it's just like, the money is insane. And belonging to a gym can get expensive, especially if you aren't using it too.
Right.
That's how gyms kind of get you too, is like you have a membership and then you don't go for a while and you're still paying for it. Which is tough. So that's one huge barrier to starting. Right. Which can be really, really tough. And then I always think that I always look at working out as kind of, I guess like a treadmill. It's like really hard to get started but once you're in the zone and like doing it consistently, I feel like it's harder to stop. Yeah. I feel like I've definitely. That's the other thing too, is I always knew if I'm active, I'm really happy and I feel good about myself and I feel confident and I feel better. So that's why I've known this in the back of my head. That's why I wanted to start again. And I feel that this year, I wouldn't go to the gym alone. I was so nervous. Because also, I did sports. We would go to the gym, we would run, we would dance, you know what I mean? It wasn't like I was weightlifting. And then same kind of thing throughout college when I would go to the rec is I would do a lot of cardio or run outside or go on hikes. I wouldn't weightlift. So I didn't really know a lot about it, and that made me really nervous because my gym here is all cardio machines and then weight machines. And I don't know how to use them. I don't know how much I can lift. I don't know. That's a huge barrier to getting started too. It's like you saw me, why would you want to go to a gym and not know anything? So nervous, and it just was embarrassing, kind of what you were saying. Yeah. And super embarrassing. I remember every time you try to get me to go, I would just go right to the treadmill, or I'd go right to the cardio machines because that I'm comfortable with and I know how to use them. And then I don't know. I just was so nervous. I thought everyone in the gym was oh my god, this girl doesn't know what she's doing. That was my initial thought. There were some days I'd literally walk in the gym and walk right back out. I didn't want to be there. I just think, anxiety is something I struggle with, but it just was through the top. I really just thought everyone in the gym, which makes no sense now that I'm
okay.
Well, it's like getting comfortable with
Yeah,
it. It's a very uncomfortable situation.
I'm like, oh my god, that guy's staring at me. Like, he probably thinks I'm an idiot. Or like, oh, that girl's judging me. It's like, I'm not as tiny as her, or like, can lift as much as her. You know what I mean? It's like a huge... I just compare myself to like everyone, or think that they're
comparing
judging me.
To you. Yeah.
So that was like a hard thing to get
so
over.
How did you go about getting over that?
Well, you helped me a ton. I mean, you helped me like come up with a whole plan. Like, okay, Mondays we'll do legs, Tuesdays we'll do back, Wednesdays we do this, or you, like me. Like, I didn't realize you can't just do legs and then switch to arms or whatever. Like, I kind of just was like, oh, whatever, today I feel like doing this. Yeah. So I think that helped me with consistency and knowing when I walked into the gym, I'm doing arms today, and these are the 5 workouts I'm going to do. Today's leg day.
Having a plan.
Yeah, that helped me a ton.
So you don't walk in there being like confused and trying to, yeah, I gotcha.
And you were really nice because you laid it out saying like, okay, this is what it's going to help. This is like what you need to focus on this day. And then you could do your cardio. So I think that foundation really helped me, and then I was able to like further research what else I wanted to work on. Yeah. And find new exercises and like move past that. But that was a very good foundation for me and helped me get to the gym knowing what I was going to do before, you know. Now I'm like so comfortable, like I can go alone. Like that was another thing, like I just couldn't get myself to just go alone. Yeah. If I did, I just would do cardio, you know.
I think everyone probably goes through that initial barrier of like when you first go to the gym, or first start going into the gym, like that nervousness, that like uncomfortable feeling of like I don't know what I'm doing here, and everyone does. Right. So I'm gonna look like I'm not gonna look right. I'm not gonna look like I belong here.
And then obviously as I've gone months on months on months, it's like now we have our kind of not friends, but like we have the same people that go to the gym. It's like, okay, I'm comfortable, like you know, like, oh, there's our gym buddies. I also realized like no one cares about you. They're there to focus on themselves, and you're there to focus on yourself. Like no one actually is looking at you. No one actually cares what you're doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I actually got one great piece of advice because senior year or junior year of college, I had a really good workout routine with some of my buddies, and one like older guy who was really like he was just very informed about working out and things like that. And he was very helpful in giving me a routine, but he gave me one piece of advice. And we used to go to this gym that was they had like bodybuilding competitions there, so it was like really like people who were really big into bodybuilding. Obviously people who looked a lot different than I do. And so he was always like, you see the people around here, like they care about themselves way more than they care about you. Right. And how they look. Like, so they're always, like if they're looking in the mirror, they're looking at themselves. Right. They're not looking at you, so don't worry about what they're looking at, because I guarantee you 95 to 100% of the time they're looking at themselves and they're only caring about what they look like. Yeah. So,
which makes sense. Like, obviously no one's gonna, I don't know. I think that was just like a fear of mine. And obviously an irrational fear, but it is a very real feeling when you're just starting to go up. And I'm sure I'll feel that way the next time I go somewhere and find a new gym. Like, I feel like it'll be an initial feeling no matter where you go. Like, even for the solid core class, like I haven't done that, and that's hard. And kind of the same thing, like I wasn't as nervous because you're kind of in your own little, what do they call it, your little carriage, your Pilates carriage, and you're kind of by yourself, but I mean there are mirrors everywhere, like you are looking at other people. Yeah. It's like just that initial class, it's like you just have to do it and get over with it and be proud of yourself that you did it. Yeah. And then show up again the next day. I think you're right, consistency is really key. And then also realizing like you're there for yourself. And you're your own competition. Like no one else, you shouldn't be comparing yourself to anyone else. and vice versa.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So that's why I think, I don't know. There's actually like this funny guy on social media that kind of he'll find videos on TikTok or something, and he kind of like calls people out. I think his name's Joey. He calls people out for like making fun of other people at the gym, because like you can see TikToks where like people are like filming other people at the gym, and like either making fun of them or like, I think I saw one, there was like this like elderly guy who was trying to work out and people were making fun of him.
That's so sad.
Yeah, but this guy's like, he's kind of trying to, which is really cool, he's trying to like change gym culture almost, where it's like, he was like, you honestly are the one in the wrong here, like this guy's trying to mind his own business and work out, and you're like being someone who's making this a negative place for him.
Yeah.
And like he has like really cool like kind of inspirational stuff where it's like, he's kind of trying to get those people to stop doing that.
Yeah. That is really cool.
Yeah, but I think there's a lot of other ways to work out that are cheaper and not as in public, I guess. If you're looking for that, and I think one thing I got really into when I didn't want to pay for a gym membership last year was running.
Yeah.
Because really you only need shoes. And that's like about it. Like you just need shoes and you need proper, I guess, attire. But like running is great, and you don't. I guess you do see some people outside, but if you're running outside, then that's a great way to get good exercise, or at least like not even running. You could also go walking and stuff like that too.
That was like one thing. I guess our friends group at school would like we'd always go on walks and just walk around Boulder and stuff.
Yeah, walking's really good for you.
I agree though. I did get really into running like sophomore year, and kind of like going up and down the mountain. Like that was so fun and nice, and just to get outside. But running is hard.
Yeah,
it's not easy.
It's also really like tasking on your body.
Yeah.
And like you can get injured really easily if you do it a lot.
I think because of COVID too, a lot of influencers and health gurus or whatever you want to call them have started making like YouTube videos, free workout videos you can watch on YouTube and do at home.
Yeah.
I used to do those too when COVID was around and I didn't have like a gym to go to or whatever.
But those are pretty good too.
I mean, YouTube has like everything, seriously. So it's like if you want to do abs, look up abs, you know. I think that's another great way and cheap way.
Yeah, you really only just need a space to do it.
Right.
Like, yeah, just some room to get going. There is a lot of barrier, like a lot of ways to get around these workout barriers, I guess, if you don't want to spend money or you don't want to, I guess, like go to a gym or, like, I don't know, because gyms can be super intimidating, and I totally get, because like you and I both have stories of us being super intimidated, and like, it's a tough thing to get through, and I think you have to be really, I'm not sure, you kind of have to continue to do it and be just like accepting of the environment.
Right.
But yeah, gyms are definitely not for everybody, and I know that like, I think a lot of people, what I've heard is a lot of people get bored going to the gym. Yeah,
because I feel like I've kind of have been experiencing that too. Like it's nice going to a class at least once a week just for a change of scenery, but also a change of what I'm doing every week.
Definitely.
I think classes are great if you can afford them. Like we go once a week, and obviously it's expensive, but there's so many classes out there. So that's a great way to also figure out what you like to do. Like if the gym's not for you, cardio's not for you, go to a yoga class. If you need something more.
Yeah, I really want to get into yoga at some point.
Yeah, and like if all of these classes work on different things, like obviously yoga, you're more in tune with like your body and your soul and like flexibility, I would say.
Yeah.
Versus like solid
really
core where it's all core or like you're sweating, and then.
Well, yoga you sweat a lot too.
Classes are just awesome to try out. we're actually thinking about doing ClassPass. Have you ever heard of that? I think you get 1 month free. So that could be a good little trick to use
way to get started.
Yeah, and just try to, because that's what I want to do is try to find a class like I love.
Yeah.
And I guess sign up for those.
Yeah,
Which I do love
I see what you're
salad
saying.
core, but
Yeah.
I want to try other things too.
Yeah, and I feel like there's a new gym that pops up on every corner now. Just like something like different. I know Orange Theory is really popular.
Yeah, I've never tried that. I've never tried the Soul Cycle class.
Yeah.
Which I really want to try. My little sister loves those, and then I don't know. There is a ton of things you can try and start with.
So like, once you got started to working out, is it hard for you to like now that you're in a routine, I guess, and you're consistent about it? Is it hard for you if you like don't work out for a while, like, or like maybe you like go on a vacation or something? Do you like find yourself being like, I wish I was working out, or like I want to work out?
I think the hardest for me is like I go back to Chicago literally almost every month for work, and I'll bring my workout stuff because I usually stay at a hotel and there's always gyms there. Sometimes there's not, and I do feel like, I don't know, I think my body, like I could just tell, like I feel guilty because I know my routine and consistency is key for like a routine, and I just feel bad. Like I enjoy it now, and I know my body enjoys it and needs it almost. So yeah, like I feel shitty that day. Shitty, like as in guilty that I didn't work out, and then also because I didn't, you know. Yeah.
So you think guilt kind of drives it, or because I think one thing that to highlight is consistent working out is just the mental effects that it can have on you, and like the benefits of like your mental clearness and how your brain operates. Like, I mean, there's been millions of studies on showing that your body just operates so much more efficiently if you were consistently like exercising.
I definitely like have learned to listen to my body a lot more this year because of working out. And then like let's say at work was so busy, and it's just nice to get out of my house. Like that's what I look forward to, is going to the gym, getting out of my house, you know, kind of like I just always feel better. Like if I've had a shitty day and then I go work out, it's like that didn't matter. Now I'm fine. Like I'm good. One of the biggest things is like I've struggled with anxiety a lot this year specifically, and if I feel really anxious one day, like I know at the gym today I'm gonna do all cardio. Like I just need to get it out and just like tire myself out.
So you think those emotions are kind of what motivates you the most instead of maybe like looking good or like.
Yeah, because I think also it helps me feel better. Like I guess I'm putting my mental health not getting rid of it, but like healing myself almost in a healthy way instead of
crying
myself to sleep or
I think like
locking myself into my room. Like I want to put it to the gym and like get all my anger out or get all my anxiety out.
And I think I started working out because I was a little bit self-conscious about myself. And you know, I said I used to be chubby or whatever, so I used to have like some body image issues, I guess. And so like I think that's how I started initially, and then as I kept getting more consistent about it, my motivation switched into like, now it's more of a therapy to me. And I use it as a way to I honestly use it as a way to keep myself sane almost. And I don't know if it's like healthy or an unhealthy way to approach working out, but it's like I mean, you know this a little bit, like I go a little crazy when I don't work out or like don't exercise.
You're just like a very antsy person in general. Like,
yes, I need to get it out.
Yeah, you like to get it out. And I think also like going off of that, like I struggle with falling asleep at night too. And this year I've been so much better because I think I'm like tiring myself out from working out, but it's easier for me to fall asleep, if that makes sense. Like, I'm not, like, my mind's not like racing and I'm not like not tired when it's time for bed. Like, I'm passed out.
Yeah.
I think it helps a lot of different things, but I agree, like, I think to each their own. You have to figure out what your motivation is and what your passion of working out is, like what you want to do.
What works for you?
Whether that's just cardio, whether that's weightlifting, whether that's yoga, Pilates, soul class, like whatever it is. Which I know is a very broad, like, advice thing, but just try everything and what sticks will stick, and you'll feel good once you figure it out, you know? I'm still figuring it out. Like, I don't think the gym is necessarily like my workout heaven.
No, I think your tastes evolve too.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's a lot. I don't know. I think maybe you get sick of a class and try a new one, or you get sick of the gym and try a class. There's so many options out there.
It is super important just to stay active a little bit every day, and like, I don't know, would you have any advice for people who like maybe have a hard time finding time?
I think like that was me too. Like in college, it's like it really just has to be your priority.
Yeah, like you have to set it up. Be like, even if I get off of work at 9-10 p.m., I don't know. Like that's really tough. That's a really tough situation.
And then just do it on Sunday. Do it on your weekends. Go on a little walk and maybe go with a friend, and that's like your socialization time, but also you're getting a little workout in. Yeah. Or if, I don't know, even just walking around the stores and like shopping, or the grocery store if you're out for 30 minutes, like that's a 30-minute walk. You know, you can think of health in so many different ways. I feel like
you can kind of incorporate it into your everyday life.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
How about you? Do you have any advice?
I mean, I feel like we covered so many different options and like so many benefits to it, and it's been something that has, I guess, impacted you and I really heavily. Yeah. And like something that I don't ever see myself stopping, but I know as I grow older, I'm not gonna be able to weight lift for the rest of my life. So it's like, that's what I enjoy doing now, but I'm going to have to evolve that eventually. And I think like yoga and things like that are going to be something I'm going to look forward to chasing in the future as something that is more of a long-term workout solution. But it's something you got to consistently think about, something you have to consistently work at, and it doesn't stop. And once you stop is when you stop getting the benefits of it. Right. And so it's it's not easy at all. It's not easy to get started, but it gets easier once you're in the groove, I would say.
I agree.
Yeah, so, I mean, unless you have anything else, we can kind of close the show out.
Yeah, hit time here. But we'll be rooting for you.
Yeah, do you have any recommendations or anything for people? What have you been into lately? Anything?
I'm still on my journaling grind, so
yeah, journal.
That's awesome. And then
use that as a workout for your mind.
Yeah, I did watch Lincoln Lawyer, and I love that movie. It's a Matthew McConaughey movie.
Yeah, you read his book too.
Yes, great, both great. How about
you? As a rec, been listening to the Morgan Wallen album a little bit. I like his music a lot, so I would recommend taking a listen if you are into country music.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see you guys next week. Thank you for listening.
Happy Tuesday.